Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We're painting a frosty landscape today, and unlike most of my paintings recently, I taped the borders of my piece of paper on this one. And this was because I was getting sick of the watercolor kind of seeping over the sides and then underneath the watercolor piece of paper, and then it would smudge and all the things I don't want. So yeah, that's why I taped the edges. And all I'm doing now is just applying a water wash, clear wash, just using water, using a mop brush. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're painting a winter frosty landscape. My memory is not serving me well. So we're gonna grab some blue. The blue does not matter. Any blue will do. I know some of you really get hung up on the color names. I don't know the color names because I threw out the little card name that came out with this a really long time ago, like when I got the paint set years ago. So I'm just using any blue and applying the color on the top, and I'm gonna run it really all the way down, but I just want it to be really light, like really light. The darkest it will be is at the top here for the sky portion, but other than that I want to keep it this really light gradient running all the way down as I have here. So this is our first layer. There isn't really much to it. We want to let this completely dry before we move on to the next step. So this beautiful gradient is hopefully fully dry. So now that it is, I'm applying a layer of water yet again. So I'm just picking up that same blue that I used and I'm applying it again because I just wanted to make my sky a little bit darker. It's fine the way it is there. Okay, and I don't want this to completely dry before I paint on my very blurry tree layer at the back. So I'm taking blue and I'm just adding, you can add a little bit of black, which I'm going to do as well, because I want to darken it just a tad. But I do want to maintain the same sort of color that I used for in the background area. Now, what we're gonna do here is create a horizon of trees in the background. So I've got my blue and I've dabbed a little bit of my paintbrush on paper towel because I don't want it to be soaked. And I'm gonna start by painting my tree horizon just above the center line, and I'm zigzagging my brush up and down, and you can kind of make your brush strokes a little more drastic in some places, almost like a heartbeat, because you can have some trees that are, you know, taller than others, but you want to keep the bottom portion generally the same, like that. Now, this isn't as dark as I would like it to be. I want it to be even darker, so I've mixed in even more black, and I'm gonna try and go over this again while maintaining the same shape. And I'm a lot more happy with how that looks. And because our background was wet, we're gonna let that just fade out beautifully. And when it dries, it should be this very seamless, obvious horizon line of trees. You could always, you know, define them a little bit by taking an even darker black, an even darker blue with mostly black, and just adding with a thinner brush some strokes on top, as I'm doing here. So I've got mostly black, but a little bit of blue mixed in with my brush, and I'm just dotting vertically. Okay, so I'm happy with how this looks. I'm gonna let this completely dry before we move on to the layer where we kind of make this look like a beautiful wintry landscape. Okay, so once your background is completely dry, it really does have to be totally dry, otherwise you're gonna destroy the background that you worked so hard for. We're gonna take black watercolor, and I'm just using a size 8 brush here, but you can use whatever size you're comfortable with. And we're gonna paint on a tree branch that runs almost horizontally, starting on the bottom center part of our page, like almost where the horizon begins here. So I'm just gonna start painting this guy, and it's gonna be angled a little bit upwards. It can drop a bit. And then I'm gonna switch, like once I've got that part down, I'm switching to my size 1. And this is where I can start painting the branches that kind of come off the main branch here. And you can make your branch as elaborate, I guess, as you want it to be. I'm gonna have quite a few little twigs coming off of each branch. And as your branch dries, it will dry like a very light version of the really intense black, so you can pile on the layers if you wish to keep that black as dark as you want it to be, as opaque. See, like here, it's already started to fade. I would also recommend using, if you have the quadruple zero detail brush that I use often in my videos, I would totally use it here. But this one seems to be cooperating with me today. So because this branch is kind of our main feature, this is what is giving us all the details, I am focusing on adding a lot of little twigs coming off of each branch. Okay, so that's a very dominant branch there. So because it's so dominant, this branch, we're gonna make this entire painting really come to life now with the details that we're about to add. So I have taken some white acrylic paint here I have on aluminum foil, and what I'm gonna do is paint it over the branch. And this is gonna obviously make it look like it's a, like there's a bunch of snow on the branch, which is definitely what we want.
Awesome. So I should probably receive the email, right? Okay. Yep. Great. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So that already looks a lot better. It's toned down all that black watercolor. And you can just add some snow kind of nestling in between all the little cross, or the portions where the two branches kind of sprout. Like so. And another thing we can do to really make this come together is water down our white acrylic paint and tap it against a brush, and that will sprinkle on the white acrylic paint and kind of make it look like it's snowing. You could also do it manually, just dot it yourself. But to me, this technique really makes the snow look more true to life. But I always go back and add a few of my own as well, because they tend to be on the smaller side, these little snowflakes, so I always add some of my own that are a bit bigger. Like so. Now, the last step is really just to peel off this tape, and I know a lot of people like that the most. So you can peel it off, it'll reveal your beautiful snowy scene, and that is basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed this really easy wintry landscape. I hope you give it a try. If you plan to, please let me know in the comments. Hit like on this video and subscribe to my channel to see lots of beautiful watercolor tutorials every single week.